And Sarah is going to tell us a little bit more about the controversy on the location of this year's event. As we did say, and Shane said there, it is in Brazil, which is raising a lot of eyebrows.
It is. I mean, you always have a little bit of controversy surrounding the amount of energy that's extended to get world leaders to these gatherings. So flying in on their private jets, adding to the carbon emissions, for example, always gains some raised eyebrows and some critique. But this year, of course, it's happening in the rainforest in Brazil. And there isn't the infrastructure necessarily already in place to be able to pull off an event like this. And so they're having to do some building works in the rainforest. And that has raised concerns amongst environmental campaigners about the whole practicality of the location of this, given that it's supposed to be about protecting nature and the climate, and already happening under such dismal conditions with the US not being in attendance. You remember President Trump has called climate change the biggest con job. He's been pretty aggressive in his second term, capitalizing on some of the moves that he made during his first term, pulling out of those climate agreements and aggressively criticizing countries like the European countries who are still vocally very much committed to some of these agreements and to trying to push this climate change agenda forward. He's had some pretty stark warnings for them. Look, you had a situation where you had, back when it was the Paris Climate Accord signed, 200 nations getting together to pledge to keep this line of global warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius. The UN coming out this week saying, look, they're not on track for that. In fact, they're on track at the moment, I think the UN saying, for Earth to likely overshoot on its way to 2.6 degrees Celsius. And the warning from the UN is what that would mean. Mountain glaciers would be at risk. You'd have coral reefs destroyed, just some of the ways the natural world would be impacted. And so add to that the optics of them building roads and infrastructure in the rainforest simply to accommodate this meeting that already feels like it's kind of dead on arrival, given the missing world leaders, not just President Trump, but many others following suit. You've got Russia, Japan, China, as Shane said, also Turkey likely not attending this. So it's difficult to see how any of the measures agreed there, given those absent and that vacuum that will create, how any of those measures can really have any bite.